Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. What affects your health? I remember when I was 16 years old, sitting in a wheelchair, paralyzed on the left side of my body, having adult conversations with doctors related to health concerns that I had as the result of a car accident that caused massive brain damage in my brain. And paralyzed me on the left side of my body. So as I sat in my wheelchair looking up at these doctors, they told me that I had a golf ball-sized blood clot in my right carotid artery, and they needed to go in and replace that artery. Now, they had come up with some amazing technology, some new synthetic grafts that would replace the artery itself, and they could just take out the part that was damaged and replace it with the new synthetic artery. And they would joke with me a little bit, although I didn't find much funny at that time. They would always say, someday when you if they were to dig up your casket, they would find dust in those two little synthetic grafts, because those grafts will be there forever. They don't degrade over time, and they're very, very durable, and they need to be in order to do what they're supposed to do inside of our bodies. So they wanted to go in, take out the damaged section of the carotid artery, which is the artery that runs up the side of the neck and feeds the brain with oxygen-rich blood, so on and so forth, nutrients. So they were going to go in, take that out. Then I also had I had a aneurysm in my chest, and this aneurysm was paper thin, and they were debating on whether or not to actually do the surgery to begin with, and if they could just do blood thinners to thin out the blood so that it would dissolve the clot in my neck, and maybe they wouldn't have to do the surgery at that point in time. And the reason they were concerned about doing the surgery was that paper thin aneurysm was actually so thin that the change in body pressure from opening my chest would, for the most part, probably cause that aneurysm to rupture, and it would kill me. They wouldn't have a chance to get through my sternum and into my body cavity quick enough to stop the bleeding. And because the aneurysm was close to the heart, my heart had just pumped the blood out, and I wouldn't survive the surgery. And there was a less than 30% chance that I was supposed to survive that surgery. So you know how that goes. It's one of those things when you're 16 years old, you're sitting in a wheelchair, you can't move half your body, and you've got doctors giving you such good news like this. It's easy to give up, and it's easy to get wrapped up into a mindset where all is lost. And then on top of that, we were having other conversations with Voc Rehab and other people who were indicative of the fact that I wouldn't live past the age of 30 because of all the damage within my body. I was struggling, so much physically at that point in time with healing, so on and so forth, that I probably would have a very short life. And so these are things you don't really want to hear when you're 16 years old, right? It's not the best news in the world. So I remember the week from when we had the conversation about whether or not they were going to do the surgery, they then took the next week to prepare, have conversations, do analysis to figure out the best way to get inside me so that they could do the surgery in a successful manner. And so I had one whole week to sit at the end of a hallway in that wheelchair, paralyzed, staring out the window at traffic going by, just thinking, hey, this is the end of my life, and this is what I'm going to see. Traffic. You think, I wish I had a more glorious story to tell, but that's exactly what I did for the whole week, and that's kind of where I was, right? So they did the surgery. Obviously, it was successful. I'll never forget when they gave me the anesthesia and I started to kind of waver out, and my family was there. They let everybody in there to see me, and I thought, I'll never see these people again, and I'll never forget when I woke up, when after the surgery, they were rolling me down the hallway, and it was powerful. But, the one thing that I didn't let happen, and I'm glad, is I didn't let it get here and become ingrained in my head that was going to be my future. I was 16 years old, I was good at sports. I had a good life. I was positive in a very negative circumstance, and it gets me thinking over time, what truly impacts our health? Is it our genes? Is it our environment? Is it the food we eat? And I'm going to tell you what, I believe that each of those things directly impact our bodies and our health. But I'll tell you what, I think there's something else. And if you're struggling with a health issue or you have some sort of a health concern, I'm going to tell you there's something else that plays an even bigger role. And you've probably heard that thought or perception causes every problem we have, right? I talk about that in our videos, and I talk about how to overcome that. But I believe that idea has more foundation than most people would ever believe. And if you're dealing with a health concern or some sort of a health circumstance, I'm with you. I've been there. Listen, I understand. And it's so easy to get into this mental trap where you just start living the life of your health outcome, and you're not living the life you truly want to live. We cannot let our health dictate our overall outcomes in life. We have to take control. We have to step up. We have to mentally refine our perceptions so that we have the ability to move forward. I mean, this is it. This is the one life you get. Do you want to spend 10, 20 years of your life with health concerns, just worrying about that? I'm going to tell you what, right now, this is what I've figured out over time and working with lots of people who are a hell of a lot smarter than I am, as I've tried to figure out why I successfully overcame massive brain damage, paralysis on my body, and I've built an incredible life where I have a wife and kids and businesses and success. And I'm going to tell you what I've come up with, and what I think the predominant thought is that your body is a dumb terminal. Now, don't take that personally, because so is mine. But you see, the body is an instrument of the mind, and it will do whatever the mind tells it to do. Whether the thoughts are deliberately chosen or they're fed to you and automatically expressed. You watch the news, you see the negativity. They tell you you're sick. They tell you to get this shot, that shot, and it's this sickness season or that sickness season. And what does everybody get? They get the shots. They get whatever it is the media just told them is predominant in the area at that point in time. Because you know what? Thinking negative thoughts will hurt your body, and making unhealthy choices will hurt your body too. Remember that. And they can eventually cause us to get sick. But the mind, since it's the master of, sick thinking will cause the body to break down, and healthy thinking will cause the body to grow stronger. And it's true, it makes sense, doesn't it? Especially when you consider that your body constantly recreates itself. The body you're living in today isn't the same body you'll be living in a year from now. Our cells, through a process of apoptosis, they die off, and then our body utilizes the nutrients that we intake to create new cells, so we get to be a whole new person. You can cast off diseased cells and create new healthy cells. And unfortunately, most people think the same or similar thoughts day after day and year after year. So although they've cast off the diseased cells, they only create more of the same because they don't change their negative stinking thinking. They stay negative, and the body, the way it reacts to the environment, and I'll talk about that in a second, will continue to give you negative outcomes until you change your mindset to a positive mindset where you're thinking healthy, you are believing you're going to get better, and you have faith that you will get better. You'll get better health outcomes as a result. Because you see, nature designed the cells in most organisms to adapt to their environment. And these cells directly read the environment in most animals, and they adjust the genetics accordingly. That's why animals adapt, and this allows the cells to stay alive in a dynamic environment. It's a mechanism that animals and other life on our planet have created. It's a survival mechanism. But in humans, our cells don't specifically read the environment. Instead, our nervous system reads the environment, it interprets it, and then it sends a signal to our cells to behave in an appropriate manner. So it's not always our environment that controls our cells. It's our perception of the environment that controls our cells. It's how our nervous system, how our mind is reading our environment that controls how it regulates the dumb terminal or the body. Your perception creates your reality. Sometimes your reality, whether it's your health, finances, or relationships, is not what you want, right? So what can you do about that? And in my situation, I just had to sit back and think a little bit about, why am I thinking the way that I'm thinking? And your perception is your point of view. It's how you interpret the world, or in this case, how I was seeing the things that were going on with me. And then you got to think in another way here. We think in pictures. We see images in our mind. So when you perceive something, it creates an image. And that image sets up a vibration in your body. And we do think in pictures. And I'm going to prove it to you real quick here. What color is your refrigerator? Is it a top door and a bottom door, or is it side-by-side doors? You just saw a picture of your refrigerator in your mind. You saw what color it was, and you saw how it was, whether it was a top and bottom refrigerator or side-by-side doors. What color is your car? You just saw a picture of your car in your mind, and you looked at the color, and you were going to tell me. You see, you think in pictures, and that's the whole thing. You've got to keep that in mind, Because we think in pictures and see images in our mind, we have to realize that what we perceive will create an image. And that image sets up how your body will react to the control from your nervous system. And on a conscious level, we refer to this as how we feel. And if you change your perception, you change the image in your mind, and that changes how you feel. You see, where does our perception come from? Well, think about this. Our perception is based on our beliefs, which affect every area of our life. Your personal beliefs have the power to create and the power to destroy. They allow us to take any experience in our lives and create a meaning that disempowers us, or one that can save our lives 100%. I sat in that wheelchair. If I would have continued the negative thoughts, I'm not going to make it, the chances probably would have gone down even more, that I wouldn't have survived my surgery. And when doctors told me I would never walk again because my brain damage was so extensive, I would never regain the utilization of the left side of my body. When they told me that wasn't going to work at all anymore, I'm going to tell you what, I didn't accept that. That was a negative thought. I wanted to be positive. I knew I was going to get up out of that wheelchair. Hell, I was 16 years old and I wanted a life. So there you go. And that's one of the things, I developed a new belief that I was going to get up out of that wheelchair. I was going to survive that surgery. And I was going to live longer than the age of 30, as many people thought, well, he won't live past the age of 30. Then people start making plans for you in your life that take into account you're probably going to die when you're 30. Well, who the hell wants to live a life like that? I want to live the life that I decide I'm going to live, and that's the way I was going to be. Because our beliefs have the power to create and the power to destroy. They allow us to take any experiences in our life and create a meaning that either disempowers us or one that can save our lives. And I wanted to say that again because the problem is most of us accept our beliefs without taking the time to uncover and analyze them. So I suggest that what you do is take some time to evaluate each of your beliefs about your health. And, ask yourself questions like, why do I believe this? Where did this belief come from? Why do I believe I can't alter my health? Is there a foundation for this belief? And does this specific belief help me grow, or will it help me to disintegrate further? And I believe when you do this, you're likely to find that many of your beliefs are not only just completely ridiculous, but they're also destroying you. And when you discover your beliefs have no foundation and that they no longer serve you, What you do is you change your beliefs. And when you do, you'll change your world. You know, when I started to believe and talk to people about my future while I was sitting in that damn wheelchair, paralyzed on the left side of my body, I'm going to tell you, it empowered me to talk to people about what could be and not what is. You know, I wanted to think about, when I get out of the hospital, what am I going to do? Nobody was talking to me about that. They just talked about what crap I was going to have to go through in the next couple of days. You know, tests. Somebody will be in to see you at 3 today for another blood gas or whatever. And, you know, and you think to yourself, boy, well, at least I have something to look forward to, you know. I mean, it's ridiculous. Forward thinking, future thinking. Things are going to get better. I'm going to get through this and I'm going to move on. And you know what? When I started thinking that way, it changed the whole damn dynamic. And I started doing better and moving forward. I was going to therapy. Things that I needed for my therapy started to come into my life. Hell, I couldn't walk. The equipment that they had wasn't designed to help a person like me get up and walk around. So then somebody in my life, happened to be a shop teacher at the high school I went to, created what I call the horseshoe. And it had 4 legs and it had a little horseshoe, and the horseshoe would come under my arms and I could hang on. And it held me up, and I just kind of slumped down and held up on that and stood on my right leg. But I could use that to the extent where I could, after a while and after a lot of determination, they used some electrostimulation, I was able to move the left leg again slowly and drag it through and drag it through. Every day I got a little bit better until I was following nurses around the hospital talking, and I was back to my old self, I felt like. You know, I felt really good. It was the interaction with others and them being positive with me that kept me moving forward down that path until I walked out of that damn hospital and I left that whole healthcare system behind. But now I devoted my life to supporting it from a technological standpoint and working with state governments to ensure that poor people have the ability to receive the health care that they need as well. It's something I live. It's something I truly believe in. I want to get right back into this simple process here that improves your health. You know, I want you to take the results you're getting, even if they're negative, and write them out in detail. You know, get a pen and paper, sit down, write out the results you're getting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these can be related to your health. What are the outcomes you're getting right now? Even if they're negative, write them out. And then I want you to ask yourself, what would be the polar opposite of that? Okay? And write out your answer. Now, I want you to write your answer out. And when you're done with that, I want you to burn the piece of paper that you utilized to write out the negative circumstances that I originally mentioned. You know, I asked you to take the results you're getting, even if they're negative, and write them out in detail. Then I want you to burn that piece of paper. Just light it on fire, put it in the grill, burn it up. You know, and then I want you to rewrite the positive results that you want to see, that you identified were the polar opposite of your negative results. And I want you to write those out word for word every single day for 30 days. After you write out what's positive and what can be positive and the opposite good results you want to get, I want you to read the results you want each day after you write them out. Why do I ask you to do this? Because here's the deal. This is a powerful tool. And if you skip this step, you're missing the whole point of this conversation. What I've asked you to do is a process that will reprogram your mind. And when you reprogram your mind and you start thinking about the positives and getting a belief system established in your mind that you're going to get better, things are going to work out, your results will start to change. You know, and I don't wonder if this works. I know it works because I've used it myself time and time again to get better health outcomes. I'm 48 years old right now. They told me I wouldn't live past the age of 30. Hell, I've hardly ever been back to the doctor my entire life because you know what? I didn't want to hear what they were saying. I wanted to live the life that I was building. And I've continued to do that. And I'm telling you what, I've used the last 36 years since that car accident to build an amazing life. And you know what? Here's the deal. I just believe that it's an inside job. And if you don't like your circumstance, you can change it. You can rewrite your health at any time you choose. Your body was created to do this, and it's happening every single day. Your body gets rid of the old, your immune system kills the negative cells, the disease cells. It's constantly fighting on your behalf. Give it a chance. Support it psychologically. The mind controls the body. Put good information in your mind. Positive health outcomes will occur to you when you believe positive outcomes are on their way to you. I'm going to say it again. Positive outcomes will happen to you when you start believing that positive health outcomes are on their way to you. You know, I altered the course of my forever by just doing this process over and over again. And you see, it's the repetition of the idea that gets fixed into your subconscious mind. And when it's fixed in your subconscious mind will automatically begin to express that idea. That's what habits are. Success is a habit, health is a habit, and I believe disease is a habit. You know, but you can create a new habit through repetition. You can reprogram your mind. And even if you initially think that's a lie, that you can cure yourself or that you're going to get better if you can tell yourself that lie often enough, eventually you're going to believe it and it's going to create the results that you want. I'm telling you it will. You know, there's a miraculous system within you. Listen, you've got an ingenious system built within you that can keep your body in excellent working condition. And if you cut yourself shaving with a knife, does it stay that way forever? Of course not. Your body knits it up. It resolves the issue. It heals you. And in a week or two, you probably would never even know that it happened. So given a chance, the body will automatically heal itself. And that's because there's a system inside you that causes your body to stay in as healthy a condition as it possibly can. But if you start to suppress negative thoughts or feelings, it's going to knock your system out of whack. Those feelings must be expressed somehow, and they'll express themselves in false growths if you don't let them out. You will get negative outcomes until you replace the negativity within you with positive thoughts. Positive thoughts will bring more positive health outcomes to you than negative thoughts ever will. You know, and awareness is the name of the game, right? Most people just hope they get better. And I'm going to tell you, no. Don't just hope. You've got to believe you're going to get better. You have to know it. And you can do that by repetitively writing down the outcomes that you want to get in life related to your health and reading them over and over again. I'm asking you to read them over and over once a day. But the more you get involved with those thoughts, and the more you read them over and over again, what you've written down, those are the ideas you're implanting into your subconscious mind, and those are the ideas that will be expressed within the body. You know, you've got to believe you're going to get better. And belief comes with the knowledge that the power to alter the course of your health is within you. You see, it comes with the understanding that, of what causes illness and disease, and understanding is the primary cause, and the root cause is what we're dealing with here. When you change what's going on in your mind, you're going to get better outcomes as long as you're implanting positive thoughts and beliefs within the mind. And I think Edgar Cayce summed it up nicely when he said, and I quote, "Healing of the physical without the change in the mental and spiritual aspects brings little real help to the individual in the end." How true, because the mind and the body imprint and imitate each other. What we think, we become. What we become, we think. It's an insidious process that can predispose us to illness, or it can lead us to health. You know what? I firmly believe you can heal yourself. There is no doubt about that. And don't let anyone, not even a great doctor with all the knowledge and information, tell you otherwise. Because you know what? I was at a teaching school and I had some of the most brilliant minds around me. And they were well-intentioned and they wanted to help me. But I'm telling you what, not a single one of them ever talked to me about how I was going to get up out of that damn wheelchair and use the left side of my body again. All they wanted to do was prepare me by buying me an electric wheelchair so I'd have enhanced mobility. Well, you know what? The enhanced mobility I was looking for is the enhanced mobility I have today when I get on the treadmill and walk 5 miles or go walk through the mall with my family. Now, I may limp a little bit, but I'm moving and I'm walking around and I'm not rolling. And I tell you what, it's a change in the mindset. But if you know people who've had things happen to them in their life and they spend the rest of their life telling every willing ear the story over and over again about, oh, it's so horrible, my back and my neck and my arms, and oh, I got pain here and my feet, and all this, and you sit around and they become that. Whether those are real issues or not, they're constantly saying they have these issues over and over and over again. So guess what they have in their life? They have those issues because that's where their focus is. When you take your focus off the issues from a negative standpoint and start saying, you know what, my feet hurt, but they're getting better and I'm going to get better. This is going to get better for me. When you focus on the positive and get rid of the negative, it can change everything for you. And it's not just with health. As you know, we talk about this every day. It's with many aspects of our life. But don't give up. Keep pushing and have faith and belief that you're going to get better and positive outcomes are coming your way. And you know what? It'll change all your results and everything will turn around. I believe it. I know it's true. It happened to me and I was in the most dire of circumstances. What about that massive brain damage they were talking about that was going to impair my ability to have a meaningful life? They weren't talking about college with me back then. They were talking about putting me in special needs programs and getting me, supported. I didn't want support. I wanted my life back. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to take what's yours and you got to step up and you got to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to move forward, and then you do. And you imprint it in your mind that you're going to continue to move forward, and you're going to have what it is you want, and guess what happens? You have what you want. Listen, friends, sorry, I wanted to share this with you today. I think this is very important. I hope you have a beautiful day. I just want you to be the best you that you can be. And I share all this with you because I care about you. I trust you, and I know that if anybody can do it, you can. And I'm with you, okay? Together, we'll get through this. You have a beautiful day. I'll be back tomorrow with some really great ideas. Let's keep this train moving forward, okay? Thanks for the great day. I'll see you tomorrow.